Recording now. Okay.
Merhaba.
Merhaba. Seslerimizi kapatalım. Yerleşelim. Let's mute ourselves and then get ready. Today we have Josh and Reina. They gifted us this time. Bugün Josh ve Reina ile birlikteyiz arkadaşlar. Bize harika zamanlarını hediye ettiler ve ilahi yaşam partnerinden bahsedeceğiz. Nedir? Nasıl ilişkimizi yükseltebiliriz mevcut ilişkimiz varsa ve aynı zamanda da nasıl kendimize bir yaşam partneri seçebiliriz. Aynı zamanda yedinci seviyeden ne gelirse tabii ki onların kendi stilleriyle. Today we have Josh and Raena Stibal. We are lucky to have them. And they will be talking about divine life partner. What is it exactly? And then, how they perceive it. Actually, we are curious about that. And if we have a relationship, how we can elevate that, cultivate that relationship to the levels of maybe divine life partnership and whatever comes from the seventh plane with their style. So we are curious to listen to them. Welcome, welcome. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz sevgili dostlar. Şimdi onları ekrana alıyorum. Now I'm spotlighting you guys. And then in a second, I will set the translation and then take myself out of the spotlight. Okay, cool. Very cool. Is that good for you? The
That's
look?
perfect.
Okay, cool.
Actually, there we go.
Şimdi çeviriyi
Great.
açıyorum. Just setting the translation in a second.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. As you can see, we're like in different spots. So you get to have this fun, exciting time where we get to be in two different locations and actually have us try to talk together. This is going to be interesting, something we've never done together, but it will be fun. But before we even begin, maybe scan you. Awesome. Great. That was perfect. Okay. So go ahead. You want to start? We talked
Yeah,
about this before we even began.
we did. We talked about it for a few minutes, a little bit. So, here's the thing, like there's the manifesting and finding your partner, right? There's connecting to each other, and then there's kind of understanding how to maintain that connection as you grow. And in life,
Hmm.
every time that we grow, we move in moments we're learning, ourselves are changing. There's a way that we adapt with each other, and there's a way that we understand each other, and the hardest part to explain to people is we work on it all the time. We're working on it now. We work on it next week.
We
There's
work
an
it out, yeah,
understanding.
every day. It's
Yeah.
a daily thing. It's not just a moment to moment thing. It's like all the time. It's because we're always trying to make sure that we elevate ourselves. We're trying to align ourselves to raise our vibration and embrace who we really are as people and recognize that of course you don't have to be fully healed to have that love or partnership that you want, but it is a work in progress, of course, and that's what makes it so beautiful when you get to have a partnership, because you get to recognize where you are great and where you falter. And I mean, that's the thing about it, is that no two people are the same, and so you can't be like, oh, you guys could do this or you should do this. And that's the best part about relationships, recognizing that if you look inside yourself and see where you are and where you're fitting within the spectrum of what you want to see within a partnership, has to be two people coming together in agreement of where you two can fit, because again, no two people are the same. It's unique, and that's the best part about it.
It doesn't take much to start to lose your individuality, and it doesn't take much to start to lose the connection to another person, right? So now instead of one algorithm, one connection, one figuring out what to do, there's sort of two. And you you need to balance understanding yourself and not being lost in other things. And that journey of self-discovery that Raina was talking about is about what you can communicate as an individual, right? I mean, there's going to be times and moments when you wake up on certain days and something's harder to communicate, and you have to find the words to say how you feel, what feeling changed. And it's funny because I was just listening to
Oh,
to Neil deGrasse, and he was talking about how to light, as it travels through the universe, we know it's possibly billions of years old by the way we measure time, but to light, it's right now. Like, it just happened. It's gone through all this experience and everything that's going on, and it's coming and it's carrying it to your cells and communicating things, and you have two different perspectives. The perspective of the particle is, this is my experience. I've gone through all these things, but it has barely been a millisecond, because that's the speed of light. And the perspective of us is, we're witnessing something that's been done in millions or billions of years, that's reaching us, and we're finally observing it. The same thing happens in relationships, right? As we move, sometimes we move at two different paces, and we're lining up those paces, and we're lining up those experiences, and we're sharing time. And time is this very valuable connector of ourselves and the pressures that we feel. It's one of the bigger pressure creators that we know on our algorithm. So when we learn to share time, how do we share it? Do we share it with the other person directly? I mean, there are still moments in time in a day where Raina and I have a conversation, and there might be a feeling that we assumed from 3 days ago was a certain way, or from 10 years ago was a certain way, and then it's changed inside of someone's cells, her
and
cells,
that does,
my cells.
right. But that doesn't mean that it can't be a communication that you can talk with each other, because I mean, really, intimate relationships, they have emotions and they run deep. And just like Josh is talking about, some of them can be really loud and they can be messy and they can be all over the place. And that's kind of the point. That doesn't mean that you don't have communications or even arguments, because when you're in a relationship or with your partner or whatever, this person that you love, it can feel like it's disconnected, and it happens, and disagreements happen with each other, but it's not something that means that you just fall apart. It means, like, I mean, you're human and you're in the proximity of another human. I mean, that's just kind of that's just kind of the thing. Like, I mean, and I just feel like we all have wounds and beliefs and things that could be pulled up at any point in time. I mean, it's like he said, it's about timing, but we don't really need to know how that really necessarily works within the timing, except for us. And if, as long as we can communicate it and be able to allow that space to allow the other person to also have the same timing of them, then it really makes a big difference, because most of us are just learning how to have disagreements with grace. And that's where that disagreement or whatever it is, or arguments, they can arise, because that's life. And it doesn't have to be something that is negative or that we regret, or something that we need to feel like we have to fix or defend or silence ourselves, or whatever it is within us, that we're just trying to really just understand ourselves and our partners, and being in our truth and understanding their truth. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, when, especially if we go about it with a curiosity, because again, there's that
Eu também
timing.
apanho assim,
Oh, and so the curiosity you have is also like this willingness and love that you have to, like, navigate the differences within each other. It's like this harmony, this balance, not like fighting each other, but it's like, I don't know, it's not the absence of the argument itself, but it's really like moving forward and understanding each other, because that really understands. But it's not a disconnect of love either. It's like having the understanding that you could be together and choosing each other over and over and over again. It's not like a fixed state, that harmony. It's a rhythm of two, where you choose each other, like a muscle, where you're building it every time, and you're repairing and staying and being soft. And I don't know, sometimes that can look like patterns that you've had in the past that may not be something that you are refining, but it's truer than than your patterns that you've had now. And it's like learning new things. And just like Josh said, I mean, I remember one time when we were doing something like this, and he decided to have the self-discovery, and I decided to have self-discovery, and we're always learning. Now that I've taken the floor, go ahead, keep going.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah. Um, yeah. Think about this though. Think about the pressure that comes from conversation, just in your life, and the things that you can say and you can't say. This is a huge limit to us energetically, and one of the reasons why relationships often struggle is that we feel like there's a lot of things we can't say. There's no space for ourselves. Sometimes there's a space for what the relationship needs or another person, or if we say it, it affects their life. Of course, it affects their life. You're in their life. You're a big part of it, and what you say has power and it has movement, right? And so now you've added this communication dynamic that could be overwhelming if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you're communicating in terms of the couple, you can get lost in the couple. And then if you don't know, if you want to be too much of who you are and you don't let the other person be who they are, you can get lost in yourself. So like reaching the levels of divine life partner is understanding that things like belief work are about knowing yourself more and the power that you have every day and what you're doing with it, right? So you're diving in and you're figuring out, okay, what energy did I put out there today? What did I do to the world? How did I do it? And is it what I liked? Was it true to me? And we've been doing that since we're a baby. That's how when we learned how to talk, that's what communication is how did I connect to the world? How did the world respond to me? And we started trading parts of ourselves. We started living more for other things and we get lost. And partnerships divine to reach that divine level, it's not waking up and going, hey, we're at the divine level today. We got no more work to do.
No, and it's also honoring those things that go on with each other's emotions too, and recognizing them as cues and clues, because really that's not that. You're right. It's not really like, yay, I made it here. No.
Yeah.
It's
So
never that.
yeah, once you have you're diving into it, right? And I know it's always like we always come back to belief work. Oh, always more belief work,
Right.
right?
Or you love it and you get
Yeah.
excited about it.
Well, I mean, there's a chance to change things and understand yourself, but there's also that feeling that and you're harmonizing your past self, your present self, and your future self. Like you're knowing that you did the best you could. You're knowing that you have power now, and you know you're building towards something towards the future, and you're doing all of these things with another person. So let me ask you this: is there in your current partnership, could you tell your current partner anything, absolutely everything about the way that you felt? If you felt that they left it up the coffee cup and it was annoying the way that they did it, just for no reason whatsoever, they lifted it up. Could you be like, I don't know why, but I find that super annoying right now. I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with you, but there's this motion inside of me. Could you do that? Well, that's a tough
Or
question, huh?
would you feel like it was just going to become an argument again? It could be a nervous system response. It could be just the way of how something was done. It could be something in your system that said, oh, that's the reason why. But if you can't communicate the way that you're feeling and things that are inside you, then it makes it so much more challenging in your relationship.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
more than
really
likely.
where it becomes divine.
Sorry, did not mean to. I heard a pause and it lagged a little bit over here, so my apologies.
Good.
Yeah, no, what Raina said is the absolute connection of knowing that your words are going to affect that person, but knowing you need to say your words, right? The feelings, how to have them come out, how to put them into a situation. And when you reach that point, like I guarantee, just thinking about it, a lot of you already thought how everybody would respond, the tension that would come up. And it put that half a second delay into a moment. And what we need to change our life energetically, what we're moving is we're moving time a lot, right? We're moving moments to recognize the possibility away from something else moving the pressure of that time. So what Raina and I have is that Raina can pretty much tell me how she feels in wonderful ways, and we can sit down and work on things. She did belief work on me yesterday. She did belief work on me the day before. We sit down and have a conversation. When we do that type of belief work, we create a space for the other person, right? And it's very thoughtful and very kind. But when we start getting into that, you start to talk about what's your communication of reciprocation, right? Who's in control? All the things that you hear about in some of the relationship classes. Do you feel like you were appreciated? Do you feel like you were unappreciated? What does it take to be appreciated? What does your partner think it takes to be appreciated? Because Raina and I have two very different definitions of appreciation inside of ourselves. And that's one of the things that we have all these years is we know changes, right? What changes for appreciation? What makes a person happy?
Yes, what he liked 20 years is totally different than what he likes today. So knowing that those evolutions of things change all the time allows for change. And of course, I've changed too. So knowing within your relationship how things can change and evolve allows for that to be such a beautiful experience within each other to come together and really discover each other over and over again. It can be like an enjoyment. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be something of low vibration. It can bring a partnership of desire and joy and really speaking each other's truth. As long as you are radically honest with each other and yourself about who you are, your needs, and what you want in life, especially when it comes to your partnership.
There's not going to be a more difficult relationship to separate your intuition from than a partnership. To know how to go up and see from their perspective what's going on and what's being communicated in your own, because you're attached. You are quite physically, cells talking, attached to the moment, and you're attached to that experience in your life. Whichever way that it goes and how it transpires has a direct effect on everything that's going to happen to you. If they get frustrated and they react a certain way, it's going to affect you. If they get sad and you feel like you were a contributor to that, it's going to affect you. If they're happy and they're moving through the day with joy, it's going to affect you. And a lot of times what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of thread the needle and have that person help us have the emotions that we want, right? We're trying to have them help us be happy. We're trying to have them help us be in joy. And we get a little lost knowing whether or not they are uh, in it themselves and how they're in it, or if we're in the harmony of like this is what I need right now and this is what you need, and we have these weird group conscious programs that we can't have two people's needs met at the same time, or we have to sacrifice one for another. And there's so many group conscious programs about we have to sacrifice for our partner to have a real relationship. It's going to take years of effort and sacrifice and difficulty. And you should just put yourself through terrible mental health.
But if you remember that a divine union is a mirror and not a medicine cabinet, you're great. You're great.
That's a good analogy.
They're not there to medicate you. They're not there to help you work. I mean, they're there to help you work on things, but they're not going to medicate you. Just like Josh said, that's not the thing. You have to know your values, what it is that you are comfortable being you with, what your worth is, knowing you and your value in every moment.
I like it. Mirror in a medicine cabinet. My brain is just firing away.
Great.
Works in tons of different analogies right
Perfect.
there. Very well done. Very well done. So here's the thing. If you want to improve that in your life, your communication with your partner starts with sitting down and communicating. And the quicker you can communicate hurt feelings in the best way possible, the longer you have created space that you can have these other vibrations, right? It's when we stop communicating and we feel like something needs to be protected or hidden. Our cells don't lie. They just don't.
No, they don't.
And people can feel like something's off. And when something's off, it's off. But it might not be them. It might be something else, but they can feel it. And we're built to be intuitive. And we're just now realizing how intuitive the human energy is and how much it communicates outside of itself and how much it has effect on different things. I mean, we know, for instance, like in our world and our understanding the whole system of knowing your beliefs and knowing what's going on and understanding your own algorithm, you start to figure out why and how you've been moved to do things. And people are aware of that. And they've been programmed to do that on a subconscious level. They're not doing it on purpose. They've had years of humanity where if we want to get something, we have to move another person to get it.
And the
Think
part
about
about
that.
not knowing what's going on, what Josh is talking about, is it's emotional trauma that people have gone through into childhood, things and experiences from times and places, ancestral things that they don't even recognize that they've taken on from all these times and places that they're bringing forward because it's easier for our subconscious to answer that way. And as you know, that's what happens. And then when we get into these really heated times with our spouses, our partners, and or times when it feels uncomfortable, those things come up. Even when it's not uncomfortable, those times come up because it's just easier. Those are just the things that we're used to, the emotions, the way that we problem solve, the way that we see ourselves, the way we see our partners, the way that we react, the way that we respond. The biggest part about it is knowing yourself, being able to pause and be able to react or respond in a way that isn't about that subconscious automatic way of doing it. Because every time that you just automatically do it in a way that's not congruent or the way that you want to embody who you really are, then it becomes this bigger, huge mess and it just isn't really you.
Yeah,
And is that really what you want to do? I mean, we want to have emotional safety in our relationships. We want to have purposeful partnership. We want to have spiritual intimacy and accountability and mutual growth. But if we can't have all those things because we're so busy reacting to everything that we have subconsciously going on, then it becomes a problem.
yeah, you've heard the conversation about how virtues let us govern emotional laws, and the more we've developed and understood a lot of things, we have figured out that emotions are the signal of what your body is experiencing in your environment. And we don't feel 5 times a day. Okay, right now they know you feel at least 400 times a day. Doesn't matter. Your spouse, if they say, I had two feelings today, that means that they felt two out of at least 400 that we know medically science has proven right now. Of course, we know science is going to catch up on stuff. Like, remember, science once upon a time was like, there's only one brain wave at a time. And we
But then
learn,
it
right?
means, yeah,
We're
two,
going to
two
find out.
emotions.
Yeah, we're going to find out that you probably feel thousands of different emotional pressures or chemical reactions inside yourselves. And we've been taught to ignore them and not express them and communicate them. And the journey to understanding our intuition of what's being said and the journey to understanding what a person needs is key to know how do we create an environment where our needs line up. It doesn't have to be a competition, one need over another. How do this need and that need work together? And if they don't work together, how are we going to communicate it and make our own way to do so? I mean, that's essentially what we do as a family, and Raina and I in particular, more than anything else. We show up to a situation and somebody says, this is the way, and we go, who says and why? And then we have a conversation about whose way it is. And believe me, we've had many in depth conversations about whose way it's going to end up being. And then we figure out a way that both energies get supported in the way that they choose to go forward, right? Because when we
But if
start talking,
you're choosing it that way, then you're just outsourcing your worth and your value and who you are rather than recognizing it's within you. It's totally different.
exactly, exactly. So, and you want to honor that within somebody else, but not give that feeling away from yourself. And that's the thing. And that's what we haven't been all these years of group conscious and all these years of programs. You turn on your TV right now, and what you're being moved by is that pressure. You're being moved by that intuitive pressure. You call up your mom and you're being moved by that intuitive pressure. If you call up your sister, you're being moved by that intuitive pressure. It's you're going to feel it in every moment. What am I supposed to do? And there's not always a lot of breathing time for what am I going to do. So you get a lot of overcorrection, right? You get I can be myself, but it causes destruction. Or you get I have to do what they want to have peace. Group conscious kind of programs, right? There's a different way. There's a way where you connect to things and understand things, and you know that moments are emotional and there's growth, and you can see yourself in those moments, and you know that it's both personal and not personal, right? The person cares, they're working with you, they want to move forward, but at the same time they're communicating their own needs. It's not necessarily you right now that they're working through. It could be you from 10 years ago that they're working through. Just like
Exactly.
that light arrived from and thinks it's right now in their cells, they're figuring it out right now.
But if you don't have a divine life partner and you're trying to gain a divine life partner, then act the way that you want, or understand who you are, or do the things that you want to do in order to attract what you're looking for. If you want someone that's playful, be playful. If you want someone that, there's things that you're going to attract exactly what it is that's within you. But that's how it works. You're going to attract what's in you. So if you want those things and you want to be healed and you want a healed person, then do that. Heal yourself, work on yourself so that you can become the version that you want in the other person, because that's what you find, the mirrored person of you. Enough said.
Yeah, well said. How about a couple downloads? Would you like to go first, or you like me to go
Oh,
first?
go ahead.
Can we download that you know how to communicate yourself to the world around you, and that you can allow the world around you to communicate themselves without feeling like it has to be a battle or a struggle?
And can we teach what it feels like to be yourself? Track the divine partner, or know that you have that partner within your relationship, that you can work on it in a communication level, being congruent with what you want, and that you can heal the things that you don't. You like that? Say yes. Perfect. That was awesome.
It was. I believe
Thanks,
we're teaching
everyone.
tomorrow, right?
Yes, we are teaching tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do a love and partnership class. It's going to be at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time. It'll be really fun. If you'd like to join us, we can know a little bit more, dive deeper into some of these topics that are really very deep, give you some exercises. I hope you understand you and your partner, or if you don't have a partner, basically understand how to attract your partner and what it's going to take to basically get what you want. It's fun. I'm excited about it. So we will see those of you that are already signed up tomorrow. And thank
Yay.
you, Gaia, for translating. We appreciate you. Have a fabulous evening, everyone. Gaia, do you have anything to say? Well, I can't see you.
Just stop the translation
Oh, okay.
so that you can hear me. Thank you so much for your time. It was amazing as always. Çok teşekkürler kendilerine zamanları için. Yarın akşam aşk ve partnerlik Algorithm of You sınıfımız başlayacak. İlgileniyorsanız bana yazabilirsiniz. Detayları paylaşacağım sizinle. I will be sharing whoever is interested in. I will be sharing with them the details. I just said that. So let's take a photo. What do you think? Can we take a photo? Fotoğraf çekelim
Yes,
mi? Bir fotoğrafta
let's
olmak
do it.
istiyorsanız poz verin.
See. What
You
do
want to try it? We
Yeah,
can
you
try
can.
it.
You, the other hand, if you put Raina the other hand, it will be perfect.
Like
Yeah,
this?
this side, yeah, the other side, just to the right, for your right, to the that's fun. Uh, your
Like
left
this?
hand to the
Oh, like
right.
this?
Yep. Yes, exactly.
How to
Yes.
move this person. Hold on, let me move. Like this?
Yes.
Gotcha. Very good.
Yay, fun. Yes, and I'm taking our class now. Evet, harikasınız. Harikasınız. You're amazing. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow evening, your morning. Yarın görüşmek üzere gelenlerle. Hoşça kalın. Bay bay. Çok harika bir sınıfımız var. Orada görüşmek üzere.